Hey everybody, what's going on? BX Ray, Patrick, Sledge, Francois, Michael, PD Maril. Boy, I'm going to start limit y'all to one per message. That's a whole mess of requests there. How's everybody doing? There we go. Daytime. It's actually thundering out right now. Hopefully the power doesn't go out. A little bit of severe storm rolling through, and it is about 30 seconds to go. We have nothing on there. Apparently that one view doesn't want to work. So we've got up above here, we got what are the upcoming known events, what might be the unknown events coming up, and then as always we'll take your request for at least 30 minutes. So my goodness, all the things that are coming up. Let's talk about, gosh, I brought a whole bunch of links. Let me pop these up really quickly. Let me know how you're doing. And if you want to chat with me, make sure you're a subscriber, hit the button. All it takes is to subscribe for just a couple seconds, and then you get to chat too. And while you're at it, you might as well hit the bell with the alerts and get notified when I go live every single morning about 9-10 in the morning for Morning Monster. We talk about what's moving for the day, what the potentials are, what's popping, what's dropping, what's moving. And there's been some pretty good ones. I mean, Sledge has made out like a bandit lately. Patrick in the chat found some banging winners lately. Let's grab the ES chart and S&P chart out of Discord while I'm at it. Throw those on the list. So we have the disclaimer that all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. If you don't have money to lose, don't get into this stuff. I mean, seriously, you can lose your money. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. I may be full of crap. This presentation here intended to be informational, educational, and fun, and it is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instruments out there, despite what I may say I get into myself. That may not be right for you. And if you need personal financial advice, don't listen to me. You need to hire and consult a financial advisor that has a fiduciary duty to give you good advice based on your financial situation. That's what a fiduciary duty means, is to take care of your money. So there's that thunder. I don't know if everybody can hear that. A little crazy. Alrighty. Pop back up the chat. And let's go this way. Check this out. Been warning about gold needing a pullback. Guess what? Breaking down into support. CTAs are long as can be. And this can result in a big down. So gold speculators are rather long right now. Not as long as they have been in prior years, but quite long gold. What does that mean? It means we can see a big pullback. I got long back here and rode it up to here and recovered my mom's like half her inheritance she lost to a Ponzi scheme. I don't see that kind of opportunity right now in gold. I've been warning people that we can get a pullback, and we can certainly get a pullback from this kind of level. Come back near flat. Please be careful. Hey, Valerie. Hey. So, let's see. Grabbing this one too. This one also projecting the CTAs are kind of long. Almost as long as they have been. In the shiny stuff, that's GC Gold Futures. Projections from Bank of America showing a bit of a pullback. We got to lighten up here. That seems to be what we're... the bull case, the bear case, and the neutral case all getting a little bit of pullback. Probably going to come back near zero for the gold positions on CTAs. CTAs are computerized trading algorithms, not commodity trading advisors. So let's keep that straight. We'll get into gold and we'll get into oil and energy here in just a minute. But short semis, the CTAs have been short semis. Now we're going long. So this opportunity to accelerate. We got a little overexcited on the bottom here. Net exposure to semis and equipment. Got a little too short. I kept banging the drum that AMD, NVIDIA, other companies like that had the opportunity to catch up. SMH, we were talking about it this morning. This still has a ways to go. I don't feel like it's caught up yet. So we can definitely keep outperforming. Now, you got to pick this is a stock picker's opportunity. You got to be careful. We can see underperformance by some popular names like Intel. While it can catch up, it's not positioned like AMD and NVIDIA are right now. So be careful on your pick. It does matter. All right. We can look at some of the semiconductors as we get into that. And golly, popped up these stupid alerts all over. So boredom is the name of the game. I've been kind of harping on this for a couple days now. S&P has not gone anywhere. We are in like the lowest. We have the lowest realized volatility we've had in over a year and a half. Since back, way back, off the chart back. So this is the lowest realized volatility period. 1 month realized volatility. We're in that lowest range that we've been in a long freaking time, and we're kind of seeing it in the VIX too. And the trade that just keeps printing money right now, we go through these cycles where we get these trades that just keep working. Selling volatility on the S&P 500 every day has been a trade that just keeps working. The theta trade, especially the 0-day option theta trade. Our intraday realized volatility is just crazy low right now. So you can sell those close to the money, especially on the dips. You can sell those close to the money put options and rake it in. And year to date, that's been the one of the easiest money making trades that you almost don't have to worry about. So what's the risk though? Years gone by when the trade was selling VIX, sell VIX, you can make a killing off of selling VIX, and then VIX blew up, and some of the short VIX things blew out. So that's the risk here, is that we see increased realized volatility, and I've kind of talked about that in the past couple of weeks too. Is that as we get in that tighter watermelon seed squeeze situation on the S&P 500, eventually it's going to break out and the volatility is going to increase. So that's the risk. Try not to get too close to the money on your short credit, your bull put credit spreads or your short puts. Hopefully nobody's playing short calls naked. You're just doing call credit spreads. But if you're doing short calls, for heaven's sakes, be careful. If you're doing short puts, you can always buy the stock or settle in cash if you're like on SPX. But you need to be careful. Be cognizant that this declining realized volatility period is not going to keep going. Like, we are in the lowest we've been in for a long time. And at some point, we're going to start seeing increased daily volatility on a realized basis. So that means the market is going to move more, but not yet. Just zooming in and looking at the S&P 500 futures chart here, this 15-minute chart, we were dropping out. We actually dipped below this line and then came back up, and I didn't make any screenshot right before I came on. But we're just chopping at a tight range, and when I zoom out, you'll be able to see it. This is the 3-day S&P 500 chart, just chopping in this range for almost 2 months now. Good solid month and a half since we came off this low back in March 13th. Came up here and just sideways with a little bit of volatility, but not much, not really. So now, historically, the VIX resting price is 20. So anything under 20 is underpricing risk in the market. Anything over 20, the return to mean trade is back to 20. Once we're below 20, it's kind of a dangerous environment that can see higher realized volatility. If we're above 20, then it's an opportunity to short VIX for a return back to 20. So that's kind of the long-term mean price is 20. So popping back over, let's go to the red list. So VIX, and I think I have a keyboard fix. Finally, I got this little doodad. It extends the dongle for the keyboard over onto the desk, so it's sitting right there, and the keyboard's right here. So looks like maybe that solved the problem for the keyboard not working. So VIX hanging out 17.98, getting a little bit of pop, a little bit of green into the close. It can go lower. It does not have to stay, it doesn't have to go higher from here. And if we zoom out, let's look at a weekly chart here, 3-day chart. You can see we get these spikes up into the 30s, and then we come right back down. 20 has been the, when I say the historical, I'm talking about like historical 30 years historical. At 20 is kind of that resting place right in there. All right, that's like we get the spikes and we come back, and the average has been 20. So we average these big spikes and we average these little troughs. 20 is where we get to. We're hanging out not that far away from it. Back here in 2017, that was the sell the VIX trade, and then we got these spikes and blew it up a little bit, and then we kind of got close, and then we did COVID, and then we've gotten close, and then we've done all that was downtrend in 2022, which didn't actually cause that much volatility when you look at, financial panics in the past here. So interesting to note here that we may see a period where, we could see lower volatility. We could make a new low. We haven't really made a new low since 21, and then last summer 2 years ago. So we could make a lower low, the lowest low we've had in 2 years. That would fit with the S&P 500 just going sideways for 2 years. When we look at it, I've got a bunch of crap on this chart. Let's kind of remove some stuff here. Remove a couple of these lines and drawings and things off of this chart. So if we look at this, we've just kind of been sideways. Draw the line from right here where we closed, right over here, straight. Look at that. That was March 31st, 21. We are on May 16th, 23. So 2 years, 2 months, 26 months? Virtually completely sideways. If you look at this, we popped that much, and we dropped almost that same amount from that mean line where we're just parked. So we've been up about that much, we've been down about that much, came up just a little shy, and just parked in the middle. So the mean right now is we're just parked on the mean for 2 years. Ridiculous. So yeah, the low is 12. The average parking resting price on VIX is 20. So you can see it right on the chart. And we're talking 30-year resting price, not 12 is down here, right around here. We were hitting 12 and bouncing off. We dipped below 12 briefly back in 2017, but 12 tends to be the modern day resting price before COVID. After COVID, we've kind of found the bottom somewhere where we are, like 16-ish, couple pokes down into 14s, and when you do the average of this, the average is much higher. You got to average out all these spikes along with the drops. So we've been having some realized volatility. The average volatility probably been hanging around 23. I don't have the ability to just whip up the math there. But zooming out and looking at the spikes, usually we're probably going to go through a reduced period here and then another big spike. We tend to have these lulls, and then we get the big spike. Lull, big spike. Double spike, big spike, spike, lull, spike, lull. So look at how long in between. And pull this over. You can see it was about that same time, got a spike. So if we go about that same time again, we could maybe not expect a spike until end of the year, January maybe. So doesn't have to go crazy, doesn't have to go down, things don't have to blow apart. All right, S&P 500 on this chart, we're just continuing sideways right here. Kind of made this little stupid, weird head and shoulders looking pattern. We could go to dip down into this spot right here. This reluctance to break out to 4,300 and retest the August high has me cautious that we see an immediate drop down to 4,000, possibly 39.60 area. Then we probably find support there and rally back to 4,300. Both paths are kind of 4,300 right now. If for some reason we were to break up, hit 4,500 straight without no slowdown at 4,300, I think that would set us up for a bigger down, lower low than what we saw back here in October. So keep it in mind, keep it keep your heads and wits about you. These things can go a little wonky here. All right, grabbing ES. Like I said, we were just kind of hanging out in a small range. Today I kind of expected sideways. I think sideways is kind of what we got. Pushing the low of the range a little bit, but staying inside all those candles. Look, hadn't really broken out of the range. Just staying and hanging out. This morning I said hanging out sideways, kind of what we did. A little bit of downside. ES was the S&P 500 futures. Like SPY, if you're unfamiliar with futures. NQ, big tech, Nasdaq, QQQ, if you're unfamiliar with how to trade Nasdaq. Probably going to break out and head on up here. We were pushing all, new highs for the year. New highs that we've had since August. Coming back here, August 22nd. Probably going to get right up there. It's not even a far reach now. 200 points. About all we need to go retest that high. I would be careful on tech. We can get a reaction at that prior high. There's a lot of people gunning for that, starting to talk about that high, going to retest it. I think it's going to be highly likely that we see it and probably find some resistance there and pull back. And we could pull all the way back down to this 13,000 level. So it could be a 700-point pullback in Nasdaq, and it could go quick. I mean, look what we did over here. That was 1, 2, 3, 4 days is all it took us to get down. So that pullback can go quick. Russell keeps continuing to consolidate at the lows. It's just ridiculous at this point. Hasn't really broken out of the range, and once it does break lower, it's probably going to push down to the 1670 level if it can't hold on and start rallying. Now, I was seeing a little bit of rally in the futures here after hours. If you look at this, like we zoom this up, we were getting a heck of a little rally, but then we gave it up the last 15 minutes before the close there at 5 o'clock. Futures will reopen at 6 o'clock right as we wrap this up. And then we'll see if we can break above this 5-minute roadmap line. And get above that in the overnight action, we can see a potential nice rally going. And we could break out above the consolidation we had all day. It's kind of dropped out and then consolidated all day. Little spike down to a lower low, and then rally right back up. So, bummer. Oil drifting off and probably going to go down, 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 and make a lower low. Zoom this up. Oil and energy probably going down. This is set up for at least a retest of this 67 area. If it doesn't hold there, probably going down to 59.60, between 59 and 61. Lower low than we saw right back here just a couple weeks ago on May 4th. Probably going down there. That's my bias right now. That's what it seems likely it's going to do. This is if it holds this area right here at 67, it's a potential measured bounce bullish setup. If it doesn't hold that, it's probably going to extension, lower low. That's what we got. Gasoline does look like it might go higher from here, though. This is not the same pattern. Not the same pattern at all. Don't think that because oil goes lower, the gasoline has to go lower. It doesn't. They're unrelated price-wise. I mean, it's like they're cousins, but they live in different households. So, and they're not brother cousins. Be careful, all right? Natural gas keeps consolidating here. We just had record natural gas, record low natural gas drilling, which seems to have gotten a little bit of positive reaction, but it's still just consolidating at the bottom here, down around $2 to $2.50. If we break out of this range, we've got resistance at 3, and then 350, and then nothing until about 475. If we break down below the lows down here around $2, we could easily get down to $1.50, possibly even $1.20. So watch out on natural gas. It does not have to go higher in the short term. Gold, like I said, looking like it's going to do the retrace that I've been talking about for a couple of weeks. We may finally get that move down to the roadmap line. It may go quickly. There's the path. Probably find a bottom somewhere around 1920. Copper, looking like it wet the bed and fell out of bed and puked the bed, whatever you want to call it. Looks like it's going and broke lower here. So how low can she go? Probably next extension down here around 350. That's not super bullish. LBI. What do we have on lumber there? Lumber future. LBR. Oh, they renamed it. Isn't that? Don't you love that? LBR 1 exclamation point. Well, that looks pretty not like the other lumber. LBS broken. Well, I don't know there. That looks like it's going lower to me. And housing and wheat just keeps drifting lower, even though supposedly we got some worldwide wheat shortage. Can't tell it on that chart. Looks like it's going back to the lows. And corn looks like it's heading lower. Sugar, all-time highs. Ridiculous on sugar. That one let up eventually. Cattle got to drop back to some somewhat lower consolidation here and may break lower. That may be a bubble on cattle. Watch out. I do kind of expect this one to come back to this $1.40 area, back down around here potentially, and it could take a year or more, back down. Well, from right here, could take us a year or two to get back down there. Pork, well, that one looks like it's going back down to the lows. All right, so let's talk about some stuff, some actual other stuff now. Got a crap ton of requests. So Google has been pretty bullish, and we're getting up almost to the resistance here. I would be careful if you're long Google. We do have to clear that resistance to go much higher. That resistance hanging out at this prior high from back here in August, 122. So we're almost to that resistance. Above that can take us on up to, say, 140, 145-ish, right up here, this prior high. But we consolidated right in that area for a good long time. Probably find some resistance getting through that. It would not surprise me to retrace back down to 110 before we can break on out. Wouldn't surprise me. All right. Apple. Yeah, it's weird having a keyboard that works the first time. So Apple, need to remove that. Consolidating right here underneath the resistance. That is the prior high from August. Imagine that. So if we can break out through that high, probably going to head up here to 199. I have a strong belief we're going to come up just shy of 200 and wreck a whole bunch of analyst expectations that we break 200. It seems highly likely at this point. And it's going to be funny to me, but so looking for that rally up there. We do have a few layers of prior highs built up right in here. Lower high, and lower high until we can break above. So got significant resistance right up there, just above us. Breaking about 176 can turn the tides on Apple. And 199, I'm still expecting 199. Whether we retrace first or we just break out, looking for 199. All right. And AMD is looking for my target up here around 110. 107 at the bottom of the range, 115 at the top of the range. And it was looking like it might break out today, then got rejected right off that high. We tried to break out, tried to close up there, and then right at the end of the day, we got sucked back below the prior high resistance. If we can break up, it may hang out there a couple days and then try for it. But looking highly likely that after we bounced off the roadmap line that we go for the extension at 107 area, possibly as high as 115, but 110. Where does 110 come from? It comes from this high right back here in May. So we're poking up, trying to poke up through the August high. It actually comes in about 104. And then May, this high back here, up around 110. That's why 110. That's why I keep saying 110. I expect us to go test that high. All right, Amazon was looking strong for most of the day. Looks like it closed pretty strong. We've got this little guy in the way. Yeah. Trying to push up through this February high. And looking like we might get it too. Rejecting just a little bit, similar to the way that AMD was. But then if we can get above that, it really kind of sets us up to go test this 145 high right up here. And I've been pretty bullish, talking about my bullish stance on Amazon going up into the summer, possibly hitting this 140 to 160 area, catching up. It's been lagging big tech quite a bit as big tech has moved up a lot. Amazon has been left as the laggard. Has huge opportunity to recover off this big down that we had from the highs back here in July of 21. Now, a lot of big tech topped out here in November of 21. This one actually topped out back here in July and has been almost got there in November, but then down, down, down. So huge opportunity just to recover back up to these prior highs. And that's not even the prior highs from July. I mean, that's just prior highs from last August. And while Nasdaq is kind of testing the highs from August, look how far down Amazon is. So huge opportunity for that to catch back up. Huge, as our orange-haired friend says. All right, AXWin. Yeah, bouncing off the roadmap line. Potential. Looks like resistance right around 215. All right. CPA. And that'll be targets. Cautious. That's the 1618. That's all I really expect out of one of these before they pull back and come back and retest 97 area where it broke out from. Maybe gap fill. So be careful on that one. Couldn't just come right back down. And let's see, ENB going lower, more than likely, sideways to lower. It's not a strong looking chart. Don't chase the bad stuff. KO consolidating right on the breakout, not able to get going. Got lots of arrows drawn on here. At this point, it's just struggling to maintain a breakout of this head and shoulders pattern. You know, the target would be up here if it can go. So far, not going. PepsiCo. Probably going to get that little retrace that I drew. And then the extension, 200 is probably significant. You know, 199, 200, probably significant resistance. And may get a deeper retrace back to the roadmap line. All right, Meta. It is still my expectation to see it rally up and fill the gap from February of last year. That February gap down where it like died and, you know, fell down the stairs. Probably gonna go back and fill that gap, and then we'll see what happens on Meta. Nothing really different. VSA, NVSA is in a chart. ON. Resistance. If we get a close up here above this high, probably going for target 191, possibly 96. ON semiconductor. See, you got to pick your semiconductor because ON not looking as strong, MU not looking as strong. You know, as like Nvidia, you know, that's pretty strong, and AMD, that's pretty strong. Where TSM, you know, looking pretty weak. INTC has been beaten down and has opportunity to catch up. So SOX, yeah, just kind of hanging out the roadmap line. SOXL, a 3x bear, kind of hanging out below the roadmap line. SMH, opportunity to break out here. So when you combine the strength of some of them with the weakness of others, and this one couldn't quite signal the breakout today. Needs a move up through 127, 128. And then that kind of sets it up to go to 135, 139 potentially. So SOXL, I'm looking for a move up through 1850, which we haven't gotten, before I start targeting possibly 22, 25, and up to 27 on the conservative target, 33 on the aggressive target, possibly even as high as 39 on the head and shoulders pattern that it did. But it doesn't have to do that one. So, all right. ONTO. Yeah, breaking out. Beautiful. We've got highs up here to go retest. Probably going to rally that next 10 bucks right up into that prior high at this point. Does have one minor resistance. It could stop and visit at 98 there. Above that, probably going up to those prior highs, and then we'll see what happens. Does it break on out, or does it retrace? All right. Oracle. Yeah. Consolidated right there. Potential to go to 103 before the next consolidation / pullback. And that's all I got on Oracle. RH looks like she's going in the back into the lows. Not great. So, NVIDIA, yeah, already covered that one. The next target up is probably right up here around 320, 325, 330 ish, top of the target. We're right in the target that I drew. Gosh, I don't even remember when I drew that, but we're right in the middle. Slightly off the center time-wise, but that was pretty darn good target, if you ask me. I mean, shoot. Yeah, I did SMH DBX. Nice little choppy crap, not really going anywhere. Sideways is that chart. Just expect more sideways. I mean, I don't see anything that sparks my interest. They make a little money. Not huge money, but make a little money. Not losing money, that's a key in this environment, but not really going anywhere. All right, INTT. If it doesn't retrace, probably 2450. Otherwise, probably coming back to the roadmap line at some point. Probably coming back over here at some point in the future. All right. Next up, HSY. Hershey. I was talking about this one this morning. It was an opportunity on the 30-minute chart. And a 5% up move takes it up to about 134. The prior fib line hanging out right at 279. This could retrace to the roadmap line. There is risk that this just breaks down here. What I have here, though, divergence on this 30-minute chart with 3 greens. That was the entry. Just kind of parked sideways, though, into the close. There is opportunity to go long, long for the next pop. I would probably only target about 279, even though 5% up would be 284. 279 would be pushing it. So, yeah. That's what I see on that one. It can go lower. It very well can go. It doesn't have to obey this divergence. It can just crush and break down and go lower. So what is the CVD? That's the cumulative volume delta. I've kind of customized an indicator off of TradingView with my own kind of flair, and kind of shows you where the buy and sell pressures are based on the volume and the candles. And right now that's kind of a divergence right there between that low and this low and the CVD down here. So that just indicates that a potential reversal exists. And usually when we get those reversals, we see a 1 to 5% pop. So 5% takes it all the way up to 284. That's a little ambitious. I mean, 1% would take us right back up to around 274. So we'll see what happens on that one. It may just fail. Very well could just fail. HD. And another divergence showed up on this one. Actually, a double divergence. And it kind of closed green. That can be a bottom, even though they shocked on their disappointing earnings or whatever. They still made a buttload of money. So, I mean, despite disappointing, that's kind of bullish, and we can see it go higher from here. So, doesn't have to go lower. We did get the 3 greens. We didn't get them during the actual open hour trading hours. So, it's a marginal setup depending on what you're doing. I went ahead and bought it at the open here, just kind of sitting slightly at the money. All right, TSLA just chopping sideways. Has another potential divergence on the 30-minute chart. No entry at all so far, just sitting there. We could have bounced off of this measured bounce setup that I had drawn down here. We spiked right down in it, came up, retraced a little bit, and we can bounce right up and retest the roadmap line back here around 188, 192. We break above that with any meaningful gusto and get above this little mini downtrend line we've had cooking here of highs, and we could see the bigger downtrend line tested, which takes us back up to around 240, 250 right up here. And that downtrend line exists from all the way back here, way back over, zooming out, right here around November 21, when big tech kind of peaked out. All right. I need like a cursor so I know where I am in the list. DKNG. All right, getting a little pullback. Probably going down. Back to the roadmap line. We probably extended it, or probably reached the extensions. Yep, 168, 1618. Pullback. Either pull back to this vicinity where it broke out from, or back to the roadmap line. And then net. Yeah, looks pretty horrible. Could rally back up to the roadmap line, but lower low looks likely. 28 on the downside. Didn't hold this bullish count at all. So, all right, I'm gonna skip around a little bit and come back, circle back. PGR looks like it's going down, down. Had the opportunity to go up, but it did not. So, found resistance right there. Turning down. Looks like lower low, maybe where she wants to go. How low can she go? Next stop, maybe 108. Like that. All right. Hit Microsoft. Let's see. I hit Apple, Microsoft. Yeah, right up to the resistance and holding at the resistance from these prior highs. It is well above the August high. Well above. So there's one of your big tech leaders right there, breaking out above that line of resistance in the sand at around 314, 315. Can see us rally back up and retest the highs around 350, 349, 350. Yeah, I mean, Apple, Microsoft, they're giant, you know. So, ANET, big drop. Cautious. If it doesn't hold support here, it can go much lower. Probably. Yeah, it's got that resistance, but it can go back to and chop back to the bottom of that box again. That could be a potential head and shoulders type setup if it where to bounce and go down. Cautious. I don't like that chart. I don't like to chase things that are gnarly. I mean, that could be bullish, but it kind of poked way back down into some of the other highs here. It's going to take a move all the way back up above 160 before I would be interested for an extension out to 180, 195 on that one. FCX probably going down to the target. It's getting really close. Oh, nose itching. Really close, really close. I even got alerts set there to let me know when it gets there. With that copper breaking down, FCX probably, it's got to reach that target at least. Now it can go down to this fib down here around 29. 33 was what I was looking for. If it turns up here, it breaks back above like 36 after touching 33, that would be a bullish indication, but then we have to clear the roadmap line. Pesky things you got to deal with, but we could go bullish from here. Doesn't have to. Crocs, CROX. I'll circle back around to the ones I skipped. I just want to get further down the chat since people are here chatting. And sitting on the roadmap line. It can bounce up, but may break down lower and go retest this consolidation down here. Possibly even this one over here. And let's see how that lines up with the fib line. Oh, perfect. Right in there. Would not surprise me to go see a retest of that area right in the oval, right around there. Would not surprise me one bit. That was a big bullish move with a nice little exponential whoop right at the end, right back down. Alrighty, that was Crocs INMD. See how well the keyboard works? It's beautiful. Alright, yeah, sideways, nothing. More sideways. Alright, something happened with the windows there. Hopefully everybody can still see me. Alright, pin, PENN. That's dropping out. Going lower low. How low can she go? Probably 21, maybe 16. Look for it to hold in there. And if it doesn't hold there, then maybe down here. Like that. Alrighty. Whoa. And HYG. Looks like that one wants to roll back on or down and retest these lows right there. And how to make the DGS2. How do you make the DGS2 chart? All right, check this out. This is what it looks like, right? If you wanted to make this, let's go ahead and save it here. Let's make a new chart. New layout. All right. Brand new layout. Say DGS2, right like that. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we got the line. I usually look at it on a weekly chart right here, DGS2. Now, how do you add the other thing that I watch? Push this little button right here, compare. Yeah, you can see it, compare. And type FED, FUNDS, right like that. It's not in the futures, it is in economic data. Add it to the chart, and there you go. Right like that. Now, I like to go over here and tune it to be the regular numbers instead of the percent numbers. So you can see there's the real market rate, and there is the Fed funds rate. A large divergence. That's it. Simple as that. So that's how you make the chart. Alrighty. And I just have it saved as the interest rate chart. Alright. Moving on. XLF. I'll circle back to the ones I skipped. XLF did not do this bullish thing over here. And looks like it's going to go down. Probably can very easily get an extension down to 2750. It could hold the higher low in here and go higher. It's got to break above, you know, if it gets above the roadmap line and breaks above like right in here. That's bullish for recovery. Otherwise, we start breaking these lows from right in here, probably going down lower. All right, that is XLF. GXO, not too shabby right there. That one looks pretty good. Probably going to get to 59, possibly 63 on the upside. Wouldn't look for a whole lot more until we get a retrace. A nice three-wave retrace right in the lows. Probably somewhere around 59, maybe up to 63. And then what it's likely to do is either bounce down from this level back down to where we broke out. Then do that extension like that. Then come back and retest the roadmap line, which may have caught up to it by that point. Something like that. All right, TGLS. That's just a constant march higher. And reaching extensions. And probably extensions of extensions on the bigger move. Yeah, bigger move 1618. I would be careful. Definitely be careful. This is due for a pullback back to the roadmap line. At the minimum, reaching out to 58 takes a lot of energy for this stock without recharging and get some recharge here. So be careful. I would not expect a lot higher before it retraces. All right. Hey, Terry. Hey, Kimberly. All right. CLF. Yeah. Farting around the bottom. Doesn't look great. I would expect a lower low, probably. How low can she go? Extension down like $9. Ouch. All right. Did Google first. These are recorded. You can actually just rewind, and then you can change the speed and catch back up if I stay that going long enough. Did HSY, ABY. Looks pretty bad. Not even gonna that's. I mean, it's less than $1. I don't even like to try to chart stuff less than $1. So, hey Goose, good to see you. CPRT. Nice. Beautiful rally. Yeah, so these things are live on YouTube, recorded as I go, so you can just like rewind. Like you can pause it, you can come back, you can fast forward, you can put the 3x speed on it or 2x speed, whatever it is. You can, rewind, watch something, then come back to live. It's the beauty of YouTube. And if you're like JT, it's so blurry. Click the little gear, change your settings up to like 1080p. I think that's what I'm broadcasting at. So you can see this is all crystal clear, high definition, beautiful video. CPRT, probably some resistance right here at this prior high. That's the 2618. May see a retrace. Could be something like this one right here. Could be like that. Maybe a little deeper. Maybe like this one back here, which would take it back near the roadmap line. Classic pattern. Before it can get the strength to break on up here. 88 would be the upside target right now for me. All right. Then WM. I skipped a bunch. I know. I'll go back. WM looks like it's found resistance there. Not so sure it's not going to retrace to the roadmap line here. Be careful. Yeah. DLTR. Oh, DLT. DLTR. Keyboard works too good now. Stuck in that watermelon seed squeeze thing. Tried to break out. Didn't do it. Right back up in. We're hitting resistance on the downtrend. Tighten it up just a little bit there. Eventually, we're going to run a room. What happens when you squeeze a watermelon seed? It pops. And God love you if you're able to predict where that's going. I mean, it can pop up. It can pop down. It's going to pop. The distance it can pop is probably going to be something like this. Something like that range right there, either to the downside, which could take it down to 100, or to the upside, which could take it up to like 220, 210. For God's sake, be careful, please. And this thing can pop up or down when it finally pops out of this range. And it's tightening up. Watermelon seed squeeze. The other one, this one, same situation, Costco. It's probably going to break up or down. I don't know which way. Just keeps tightening up. Tightening, tightening, tightening. I mean, it went from a giant range down to a little baby range. This is more of that reduced realized volatility. This is not going to stay this way. This is going to break out, and it's going to move big. And it has shown it can move big. Right back here, it moved big. You know, and these lines are just that size right there. Like, I mean, right here. See that range? It did that in like a month. It can go down that far in a month. It can go up that far in a month. Be careful, all right? Same with DLTR. We're in that same kind of little triangle thing. It did this move from April to May a year ago. It can pop out. It can pop down. Be careful, all right? A, B, and B. Failure to break out. God, love it. Well, it did the expected pullback. Man. If it holds here, measured bounce, back above 115 is the first initial sign we're bullish. Breaks down below 95, probably going lower low, like 65. So there's the support zone right there. This is a measured bounce setup. This is just a fib setup. Potential target on the upside, potentially 182. On the downside, 65. That's if it breaks back above 115 here. Or if we break back, we break down below this right here. Everything else in between is a sideways. That's Airbnb in a nutshell. And Mondelez, yeah. That's a crazy target. I would be careful. That can retrace. I'd be looking to book profit, not chase that further higher. You know that wants to retrace. It's having so much trouble pushing higher. It reminds me of NVIDIA. You know it wants to retrace as it pushes higher. It's gone from this fast, high energy up state to kind of a drifting higher state. It's run out of energy. It needs to pull back to get energy for another big move higher. All right. Got to the bottom of the list, so we'll circle back to what I skipped. And PLTR. And potential to break on out. Like 1150 is the resistance here, and at this point we've got double resistance right there because we topped here and we topped here and we pulled back, and if we can break above 1035, then we got resistance at 1150. Above 1150 sets us up to probably go up to this $14-15 area right up there, just climbing the fibs and the prior highs. Anybody telling you this sucker is going to the moon is not in touch with reality of how things move. Sorry. Hate to break it to you. Mora, it has great potential. It's just not there yet. Mora has great potential too. It's just not moving yet. And most of that has to do with Bitcoin not moving. So Bitcoin is stuck in the mud. Mara's stuck in the mud. Till we get some move on Bitcoin. Mara's probably stuck here. Limited by about a $16, $15, $16 upside and potential between 21 and 31 right there. Bigger picture, you know, years out, probably triple digits, but we got to work through this stuff first. And Bitcoin is just not doing it right now. It's consolidating here at the, you know, at the bottom of the range we've had for a couple months. JT, zoom that up so I can see it. Yes, I will do that. Right there, consolidating at the bottom of the range. Getting a weakness here. Potential spike down to the roadmap line. Down here around 24, 25,000. Potential exists on that chart. We came up so close to just reaching down there. Bounced up. So it's highly likely, I see it as highly likely that we just reach down there and tag that before we go higher. All right. Coin. There's some potential squeeze action going on in coin right now. This one does have a little baby micro measured bounce setup going here. Could push right down a little bit lower. Could push right down to here. We get that and turn up one more time. We can get a big up. Not a huge up, but a big up. That big up can take it right up into this potential $70 to $75 area where we found highs before. Break above that area right here where we topped out back in February and in March. If we can get above those highs, 110 would be the next upside target. We have resistance from this high back here in August. So coin is underperforming big tech. All right. PayPal is trucking on down to the target. Doo-da, doo-da. Target down on 45. Oh, doo-da day. That's a beautiful trade. Sledge, you still on that? I hope so. I did not get on it, but if you make a buttload of money, I'm going to be so happy for you. All right, I did MST, FT, MOS. Looks like it's wet in the bed, or crap in the bed, or falling out of the bed, or falling down the stairs, or whatever you want. Whatever crazy, say, disappointing, 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 disappointing. It's got support right there. Right on it now. If we start breaking below that, jeez, this does not look good. Cheese and crackers. We're sitting right at the 618. And next level's down all the way down here. We start pushing below that, probably coming down there. Get below that. Zero. Not looking too good if we break down below. Not looking good at all. All right, BTBT. One of my favorite charts right now. This thing has monster potential to get up to about $5 in the short term and probably $10 after a retrace back to $3. So I'll probably get up to 5, retrace back down to about where it is now. Looks like it's going to do this, probably going to do this, and then probably do this. And that's what I see on BTBT. You know, that high comes across, about like that. So somewhere in that area after we probably hit 5, retrace back down to $2, $3, and then up. That's BTBT. All right, COTY. I haven't looked at this one lately. Yeah, look at that. Bounced right off the 1272, right back to the 100 from where this is that pattern I've said a couple times now. 1272, back down to the 100, back down to the highs from which it broke out, and then extend. If it doesn't push on down to the roadmap line, could just push on down the roadmap line. So support right there around 10, target probably around 14. That's what we got on COTY. Etsy looks like a piece of junk lately. Probably going to come down here and test 84. Break below 84. Yikes. Same situation with a lot of stocks here. They need to hold some areas. INTC looks pretty bad. Looks like it's going to extend lower. It's just not. It found resistance. That's probably going lower. And let's see. Oh, the market's back open. Man, I've been going a long time. Way longer than 30 minutes. Let's see. And we've got support right in here. We break through that, probably going down here. And that just comes from the extension like that. That's Intel for you. Not great. FTNT. Looks like 71, 74 on the upside, and that just happens to correspond with that zone right there. That high and that high. Kind of funny. Probably going to turn down from there and retrace one more time. All right. Caught that part of the list. Let's see. PGR. What was that? PGR. Fingers. Yeah. Already did that one. Let's see. AMAT. Potential to break out and go up. That one has a head and shoulders. Breaking above about 127. Can take this one up to about 180 potentially. We'll have all sorts of fib resistance on the way up. 130, 135, 145, 150, 165, and then 175, 180, possibly even 190 up there. We may zigzag for a ways, but it did that big down and big up really quickly, so it can get right back up there. And it's got some resistance at that prior high too, around 167. So AJG, that's looking for targets, baby. I would not expect a lot more. 161.8 right there. Potential. Look at that. It did the little mini retrace and out. That's the same pattern. Look at that. Look, look, look. Right there. You see how it popped up, retraced, and then it went for the extension. It did it really fast. That one hit right there, retraced back to the 100, and then went for the extension and stopped. Probably going to retrace now. Anybody that thinks my patterns are full of crap? This happens over and over and over. All right. Let's see. GE. Yeah. Probably going for that extension right up there, that prior high from back here. I did not draw the prior high very well. Probably going to truck right on up there, possibly up to one. So we're getting a little resistance at that one, at that 99, 100 area. If we don't retrace here, then we'll probably truck on up to that 112, 113, 114, 15 area, and then get the retrace. Same pattern that I just was showing. JNPR. Yeah, that looks rough. Looks rough. Measured bounce potential. The entry probably needs to be back up through that gap right there. So above that, can take it way on up here. When I say way on up here, what do I mean? Potential for 38 at the minimum. possibly 42. But if it breaks down below this zone, we can extend lower down to here. So anything in between makes that a sideways. Just bouncing around in there, zigzagging. All right, did MOS, SBUX. And bounced right off, right back down. Probably wants to touch the roadmap line. That would be my primary expectation right now. And TLT is just farting around, stuck below the roadmap line. Probably going to retrace one more time. Has been unable to break through the roadmap line. Unable. Needs to hold here. We start breaking below that, probably going for an extension lower. Same bullcrap pattern. That's what you got. That's TLT. All right, let's see. Catch back up. Whew, way over 30 minutes. Yeah, GE has a monster head and shoulders. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. Glad you liked it. And remember, I go live again tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for the notifications. Going live at 9, 10 in the morning. Cover what's moving for the day. And yeah. I think that's it for today. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. That's why I do what I do. I just like helping people. So if you want to come join us in Discord, though, links in the description. I mean, it's like $5 for 3 months. And we'll see you tomorrow.